Everybody, it's approximately 1:16 at night, and I thought this is a perfect time to review a show that I just finished watching the first season of. Now, this will be my review. This is a pretty old show. Well, not that old. The first season aired in 2010, and the second season aired in 2011. So I'm expecting that there's going to be a third season, but I haven't seen the end of season 2 yet, so I can't really say. But basically, it's just gonna be a review of a certain show I just started watching yesterday, and I downloaded all the episodes onto my iPad and finished just now. That's right, I stayed up until 1 o'clock just so I can talk about this. Anyway, the show is Todd and the Book of Pure Evil. And it is actually a really good show in many ways, like, judging by the first title, what do you expect really? And seeing just like the first trailer or the first episode, all you're expecting is just a generic comedic slash horror show starring a kid that doesn't really know what he's doing with a book of evil. But it's actually much more than that. So I'm just gonna review the whole series, well, the whole first season for you, and I'm just gonna say what I gotta say. So basically, it starts out with Todd, a sort of failure of a metal a metal rock player, and he's basically no good at doing what he does with music. He has his best friend Curtis, who has lost his arm, and we find out what actually happened to his arm in the last episode. Moving on, and we got Jenny, who is the pine of who Todd pines for, basically the generic bitchy but very attractive girl that the main character desires. And then finally we have Hannah, who is the incredibly smart but very unsocial girl in the series. So throughout the series, the basic plot point is that there's a book of pure evil that Scott finds, and after he uses it for his own personal gain and basically destroys his life for the whole first episode, it goes on to basically change the way people act and the way people feel, and basically just cause havoc all around the school. I find it funny though that they have not closed down that school. If you've seen the series, then you obviously know what I'm talking about, because some crazy shit happens in that school, and it's ridiculous. Anyway, so yeah, it's basic premise of the show. Anyways, the basic point of the show is that like shit hits the fan, and it's up to Todd and his whole team of monster fighters to help save the world, more or less. Each episode passes, or at the very least save the school. A lot of interesting things come out of what that book is. The thing I find kind of funny is the fact that the book, as soon as someone opens it, it instantly turns to a page that is something that someone wants and or needs. So they use it, and then there's always a bad repercussion for using it, mainly because it either causes havoc in the school, or turns them into something, or it creates something completely devastating to the world in general. And it's just, honestly, it's a really great show. At first I thought it was just going to be like a classic generic thing, so I just bought it. I bought it, the first episode, on iTunes, just because it was I had about $5-6, and I just wanted to check out this series because I've heard some good things, and I just wanted to check it out. I watched the first episode, and after that, honestly, I was hooked. It's an awesome show, and if you're a fan of metal, rock, and like horror comedy, it's right up your alley. It's got some crazy shit, some really good, well done horror effects, and I can't back it up anymore. It's a great show. Moving on. So I went over all the plot points. The characters themselves are all have their own definitive, attributes during the show and during the crazy things that happens. Basically Todd is the unwanted hero, the person that doesn't want to do anything to help because he's too lazy, but he's pushed into the role as a hero because it's just something he has to do. It's his fault that that it happens because he awakened the book itself. And then we got Curtis, who is Todd's best friend and right-hand man, who helps him with, figure out most of how to solve all the problems. And they themselves as a team make a great comedic team, like Abbott and Costello, except, they get high rather than write jokes. Yeah. Then we got Jenny and Hannah. I've given you an overview. They're basically the two generic characters, but it's just this is the way it is. Moving on, there's also one more character who is probably my favorite character of the series. He's the main. The series is more or less main antagonist, but also seems like somewhat of a good guy. He's a guidance counselor for the school. I can't remember what his name is. It's like Abbott or something. And he's basically just a guidance counselor helping all the kids out. And it turns out that he's actually a Satanist. So this guy works hard to try and gain the book so he can bring it to his father, and who is the leader of a Satanist organization, and so he could just, he can be happy. I guess that's the case. Yeah, so throughout all of his, little escapades trying to get the book from the kids or from whoever actually obtains it, quite a few comedic things happen. Sometimes he almost dies trying to get it. One time he actually does get it, but because of the current disaster that's happening in the series, he gets a little sidetracked. One time he has to choose between his life or the book, and it gets even crazier with that. So yeah, that's the basic way that the show goes. Basically there's a problem that's caused by the book. Todd has to save the world with the help of his friends, and it's the basic generic thing. The thing is that surprised me was, although it's somewhat generic, it adds in that air of originality with the jokes and with the characters and just the overall attitude and feeling of the series. It's a great show. It wasn't what I was expecting, and honestly, I'm very happy that I have seen the series. As soon as I can, I'm planning on picking up the seasons on DVD. I hope there's a season 3, unless they ended in season 2, which I seriously hope they didn't, because honestly, it's a series that deserves to be graded, There are very dramatic scenes in there, which I never actually expected from a show like this. So, they had drama, they had horror, they have comedy, and a little bit of romance. It's not huge, but they have the abstractness of it, and honestly, it's a great series. So if you're a horror movie fan, or just a comedy action fan, I say check it out. It's a great series, and you won't be disappointed. See you later.